everyone. Ian Nicholas here with an interview for the Courant regarding the current status of the CIAC Winter Sports season. I'm joined today by a pair of state championship winning head coaches for New Canaan High School. Danny Melzer, heading into his 5th year coaching for the boys basketball team, and Rich Bulan, heading into his 20th season coaching girls hockey here at NCHS. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
And
Thanks for having us, Ian. Happy Thanksgiving to you and Rich, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Thankful for what we have, and hopefully we're hoping for that winter sports season. So before we start with all the news and all the questions to our coaches here, I'm going to set the scene a little bit on what is going on with the CIAC winter season right now. So 10 days ago on the 17th, the CIAC delayed the start of a winter sports season until January 19th, pushing the start date back 6.5 weeks. This was due to a number of COVID cases rising throughout the state. Practices were scheduled to begin next Saturday, December 5th. From now until the 19th, all that the teams can do, according to the CIAC, is off-season conditioning, no official practices. And according to the CIAC bylaws, games can't be played until after 10 days of practice, which makes it seem like January 29th is probably when we will see those first regular season games being played at the very earliest. So, Coach Bulan, you and I were talking right before the interview, and you mentioned the fact that you work with a U19 team and that you were able to have a lot of success with that team, both without masks and with masks. So tell the people what you were able to do with the hockey team and throughout the fall and how well it went.
Well, sure. Thanks, Ian. I've been for the last probably 6 or 7 years coached with the Connecticut Ice Cats U19 program with actually my assistant coach is my arch nemesis, Jamie Tropser from Darien. People don't get that, but it works. So,
it works.
We've been friends for a long time. But and one of the things we did was we followed all the protocols that a lot of rinks had already put into place. And actually we followed during our summer camps, which was, there was no locker room dressing. There were designated open spots, X's marked where the girls could dress. They really asked if we could have the girls come to the rink at least 3/4 dressed, just put on, skates, whatever, but be prepared. And we started August 28th, and the season just concluded last weekend once the mandate went out that there were going to be no more, club sports or whatever, however it was worded. But up until pretty much maybe 2, possibly 3 weeks ago, as I'm getting older, I'm getting foggier, but we played the whole season, no masks underneath our regular masks. The last 3 weeks, the girls were told they had to play with masks, and the adjustment, it was tough. Shifts got shorter, girls were getting winded quicker and everything, but we didn't have a positive case on our team for the entire season. We had 2 girls that had a quarantine because somebody at school they had been close to, so they missed the allotted time for that. But as far as positive tests, we didn't have anything. And again, obviously there's some luck involved in that, but I really truly believe a lot of it was we followed what we were supposed to do. Everybody wore masks in and out of the ring. We changed in an appropriate distancing manner and kept masks on until you got onto the ice. And then eventually we did have to wear them on the ice. And, again, knock on wood, it was successful and nobody got sick.
Well, that's great to hear that hopefully when the season does start in mid-January, that those mitigation strategies can be used properly and that can have a successful and fully completed season in 2021. Now, Coach Melzer, I know that one of the star players on your team, Will Bozzella, played in a summer program and he had to wear a mask when he had to play. I don't know if you or him talked a lot about that, but have you talked to the guys about how wearing masks could potentially impact it? What is your opinion, or what do you think about the possibility of having to wear masks, and what have you told the guys about that possibility for 2021?
So I've talked to some people up north that have been playing in masks already, and they, what they told me was that initially it's difficult, but it's an adjustment and you get used to it, and after a while it becomes relatively normal. Obviously, wearing masks isn't ideal for athletics, but what I do know is that if you tell kids you've got 2 options, you can either play in a mask or not play at all. I'm almost positive every single kid's going to choose playing in a mask. So the kids were prepared for that. They started to plan for that and started to work out on their own in masks. So, we were going to prepare for that and be prepared for that as best we could. So, when that day comes, if that's what they mandate we need to do, then that's what we're going to do.
And I know that you've been hosting basketball workouts pretty much every weekday after school around the New Canaan High School campus. How have those been going? And how would you say the guys are prepared for the upcoming season when it comes 6 weeks down the line?
Yeah, so we did our strength and conditioning program outside this year because of the COVID situation, which is something new. We've never done that before. And I think it worked out really great. That we were able to cohort the kids. We were able to keep them socially distant. And, we tailored our program a little bit more towards functional training versus, tons of heavy lifting. But I thought it went really well. The kids seemed to really enjoy it. They seemed to get in better shape because we did a lot of running with it. So, I think up until this shutdown, I think we were in a really good place to get ready and get started in our season. And so when things start back up again, hopefully our kids are going to be working out on their own so that they're prepared to pick up where they left off.
It's great to see that you guys were in a really good spot and that you do have some idea that both of you, that wearing a mask will take some time to adjust to, but it's very doable and you can have a successful season in terms of player development and getting those, make sure they're not too winded. So I'm going to ask both of you this question. I'll start with Coach Bulan. When you originally heard the news about the CIAC's decision on the 17th, when you talked to your players first, whether it was via email, via Zoom, in person, especially to the seniors who had to take this somewhat of a burden on, Coach Bulan, what did you tell your girls and your players about what to deal and how to deal with this?
The first thing was, obviously dealing with the disappointment and the fact that it sits in the back of your mind that, oh no, we got cut off, and Danny knows this all too well. We got cut off before we could do the state tournament and get a chance to defend that and play. And I think the first thing we all talked about was, listen, it hasn't been canceled. You just have to have faith that everybody in charge knows what they're doing and knows a little bit more than we do. Mm-hmm. We will figure out what we can do in the meantime to try to be prepared that hopefully when the 19th does come around. I know, one of the questions I get thrown at a lot is because we're not CIAC sanctioned, we follow all the rules and we do everything. The only difference is years ago, they allowed the girls to play both travel and the high school at the same time. There had to be restrictions on how many times you could be on the ice a week. And everybody's really kind of lived up to that. So, all the questions were, well, it's the 19th, but you guys always start a week early so that, the boys and you don't, conflict with trying to get ice, so on and so forth. But I told them, listen, let's just look at common sense wise. This is serious. And I think we all know that we're going to have to follow the lead that everybody else is doing. Now, in the meantime, Danny was saying about doing things outside and away from maybe the gym or the court or whatever. We've put together a couple plans and we're waiting to hear if these are things we can do. Danny, I know, has seen, and you've probably seen it also, as far as it can't be more than 4 in a group and it can't be a clinic or instructional. But the fact of the matter is, I know for us, we don't have a court or a field or whatever that really we can just go to. That buying the ice thing is, such a pain in the neck as much as it's a necessity. So with the ice we had blocked off, I've proposed that we take 4 girls every 20 minutes within an hour practice session. And just, it's a shoot around. It's pucks, skates, shoot toward the net, do something just to stay on the ice, just to keep your hands good, just to keep your skating good. Mm-hmm. And in this way, every hour we could at least get 12 girls out on the ice if we rotate to every 20 minutes. And, we'll see how things like that are either agreed upon or not, or we have to figure out something else to do. But I know now the captains have taken it into their own hands as far as doing the off-ice training and strength training and making sure that they're Zooming and what group is working out with what group. So, I think the big thing they're holding hope is that since basketball and ourselves, we got kind of cut when it really counted, is that everybody's really, from the heart saying that this is going to be a big effort to try to make sure we do get some kind of a season in, because it would be a shame if it's, 2 years in a row that there's not relevant basketball or hockey. I mean, I feel bad for, at this point, be the juniors and seniors, it's just, it's tough.
Well, obviously, we still got a lot of time to go till that January 19th date. It is good to hear about the numbers in Connecticut. They kind of go down a little bit after that bit of a spike. So hopefully that trend continues through these cold months, and we get to that point where we can have those meaningful games and tournaments can be played, and like they weren't cut off, that they don't get cut off or anything. Coach Melzer, did you tell your veteran guys and the whole team, obviously, anything different about your situation right now and how you guys are going to proceed?
I think Coach Bulan hit it pretty much on the head. We're trying to stay as positive as possible. They didn't cancel our season altogether. So, we're just going to look forward to that January 19th date. And there's going to have to be a little bit more of the kids doing some stuff on their own, because, limited limitations with grouping and whatnot. So, I think the kids understand that. We understand that. But we're all going to be in the same boat. Every team in the state is going to be in the same boat. So at this point, coming off Thanksgiving, I just want to make sure we're thankful for what we do have instead of thinking about what we don't. So we're going to look forward to January 19th. We're going to be as prepared as possible. And once they say it's a go, we're going to go full speed. This senior, these seniors very well, obviously, yep. Ian. I'm sure Coach Bulan's seniors are the same. They're just so excited to get on the court, and they're going to give everything they got. And I'm looking forward to that.
I think that was really well put. And speaking of those senior leaders, putting a little positivity on this to finish this all off, who are some of the guys on your team? And Coach Bulan, I'll ask you this for the girls in just a moment. But Coach Melzer, when you look at your team this year and the seniors that you have, who are you most excited to see finally get that chance, hopefully, when we are in mid-January? I know you're a big fan of Will Bozzella because he's been through a lot of hardship. But who, alongside Will, are some guys who you really cannot wait to see in those official practices when they should begin on January 19th?
This is going to sound like the easy answer, but this is the truth. All of them. These seniors have been looking forward to this moment for a long time. I met with them when they were sophomores, and I said, some of you guys are going to get your opportunity, right? As your sophomores and juniors, and some of you might not get it till you're a senior. But when you guys get that opportunity, I know you're going to make the most of it. And I think that really hit home with them. I think they really bought into that and took that to heart. And so I can't wait to see all of them on the court. I don't have one in mind. I mean, you're right. Bozzella's had some tough times with his injuries, but David Siegel had an injury last year. He missed the whole season. Ricky had an injury the whole season last year. Steven Panzano was hurt on and off. Dennis, same thing. Gavin took a year off to focus on volleyball, which ended up unfortunately not working out for him because of COVID. So Gavin's going to be back with us this year. And then obviously Leo and Christian, played a lot last year, and we're going to lean on them for their experience. And then Braden Sweeney's a guy that, he's played varsity football for forever and varsity lacrosse forever, but now he's going to get his opportunity to get some varsity minutes in basketball as well. So all these guys are great kids, great players, extreme competitors, and I just can't wait to get into practice with them and see them go at each other every single day. And they've got the mindset that you need to have, which is when we get on the court, we're not friends anymore. The second practice is over, we're back to being friends. But when we're on the court, we're competing against each other. And I just can't wait to see that, live in person January 19th.
Trust me, before I gave up the football life, I did the 1v1s against David Siegel and Braden Sweeney. They were not fun. They forced me out of the sport. But they're very competitive guys, and I know that you value them immensely.
Pretty physical guys, too.
Too physical for my liking.
Yeah.
Coach Bulan, what are you looking forward to the most with your seniors, your veteran leaders this season with their growth? And who are some players that you just cannot wait to see on the ice and develop even more?
Well, I think Danny had the exact same answer I do. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them. And for us, everybody well knows as far as the hockey community, we had that streak of like 12 years where, we just were on top of everything. And then all of a sudden, Darien caught up. And we went through that 3-4 year, stage where we played them tough, but we just couldn't crack the blue wave. This group comes in as freshmen between, McKenna Harden, Courtney O'Connell, Ariana Bell, Shay Hobbs. Kelly Benson is actually back after being with us, going to prep school, and came back. Blythe Novick. That group all started as freshmen, and we wound up beating Darien 3 times their freshman year, especially Courtney O'Connell scoring that goal in that double overtime game to win it. And I guess she just got the goal a few weeks ago in the soccer final for against Darien again. Her and Darien, I mean, they'll be glad to see her graduate. But that group, they all just they all not only get along well together on the ice, but socially and everything they've organized off ice. I am just really looking forward to seeing that group finally in a leadership role after all they've meant to us, leading us to that state championship when they were sophomores. I mean, every one of them's played. They walked in the door, we threw them in the fire, and God bless them all. Very talented kids that just mentally are tougher than, any group I've ever had. So this is, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be fun to watch. And I know Danny will get a kick out of this, but for me, I always just like rubbing it into Jamie that, oh gosh, what if we don't play this year? And I go, well, yeah, I'm still the reigning state champ, I guess. And so he gets just furious, but I can't wait to see that group and how they react to this as their senior year and what they can leave as their legacy, going out the door with that. So Danny was right. I'm looking forward to all of them.
Well said. And I think this really, it shows how mentally tough your players are. You put it really well, Coach Bulan. They've been through the ringer, and hopefully they will get the chance to defend. You're already defending state titles in girls hockey and boys basketball. Hey, you guys haven't been challenged yet. You're right. You are both defending state champions, and hopefully you can add to your resumes and your team's success even more in this 2020-2021 season. From Rich Bulan and Danny Melzer, I'm Ian Nicholas, and thanks so much for tuning in, everyone.